Welcome everyone to the very first Kind Spotlight, where we spotlight people and businesses doing all sorts of kind things, sharing their passions, and making an impact in the world. I'm your host, Taylor Thompson, co-founder of the Kind Brands, and Dr. Marina Mangano. Hey Marina.
Hello, good morning.
Dr. Mangano is a sports chiropractor at Tensegrity Chiropractic in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with a special interest in acupuncture, yoga, and rehabilitative exercise. I'm super excited for this interview for two reasons. The first being that this topic is super juicy. I'm excited for everyone to listen. And the second being that Marina is one of my very good friends. And she absolutely kicks butt, and I just can't wait for her passion to shine through in this interview. So, Marina, why don't you start and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey?
Okay, my chiropractic journey?
Yeah, or let's do your personal journey first.
Personal?
Just kind of,
okay.
Yeah, who is Marina?
Well, I'm currently talking to you from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is now my third home. I grew up in a little beach town, Cape May, New Jersey, and I grew up playing soccer and being really active. I did not know I was going to be a chiropractor at that point, but I knew it was going to be health related. I went to college about an hour from there, right outside of Philadelphia, and did athletic training, studied exercise science, and after I stopped playing soccer, it led me to group exercise, and I taught a lot of fitness classes at the rec center there for my university. So I think that's when I kind of got the bug. Like, I knew it was going to be some kind of health-related something, and my undergrad just set me up really perfectly for chiropractic sciences. So I did an internship at home with a chiropractor from town, which is really powerful for me because he's actually the man that diagnosed my dad with MS 10 years previously. Yeah, he's a chiropractic neurologist, and he was the only person who found these signs in my dad that nobody else really could tell what was going on. So he was misdiagnosed and treated for years wrongly. But I think I worked for him for a summer, and I was like, yep, this is it.
That's it.
That's it, yes. And that took me out to Kansas City, middle of the country, which I didn't even know existed for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's just skyrocketed this entire journey that if I told myself as a kid I would be doing, wouldn't have believed it.
Yeah, that is super interesting. So, let's rewind just a little bit. So there's probably some people listening to this that either are really kind of unsure what chiropractic is, or they do and they just are maybe a little confused. So will you tell everyone a little bit about what chiropractic is and what it means to you?
Sure. Traditionally, chiropractic is a manual therapy to reduce restrictions and something called a subluxation of the spine. I think since that time it has completely grown and transitioned into just an overall holistic, non-invasive way to balance your body, your mind, muscles, joints, your brain, neurology. It's definitely someone who just wants to take their health and their physical pain into their own hands. I'd say if that kind of sounds like you, I would definitely reach out to a chiropractor.
Yeah,
but there's so many different types of chiropractic, so it's something that you kind of have to hop around a little bit to kind of find your provider. But I don't know if you want to get into that or not.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, I think definitely when we wrap up the chiropractic conversation here, you can give some tips to some people. Yeah. So what different types of things do you do within chiropractic? Because there's so many, extra awesome tools and knowledge and things that you can add in to the foundation of chiropractic. So what are some of your specialties?
I would be probably considered a sports chiropractor, meaning that I deal with a lot of athletic injuries and athletic-minded people. It just entails a little bit more than just the true joint manipulation or the adjustment portion. Of course, first and foremost, I'm a chiropractor, so that plays, that like you said, the foundation of my practice is that. but I work with those athletes in a way that we watch to see the mechanics of their sport. So a lot of movement assessments, joint range of motion, soft tissue quality. We use a lot of special techniques to improve overuse injuries and things like that. Kinesiology taping is a great additional tool for athletes. And then one of my extra specialties is something called McKenzie disc protocol.
Awesome.
Which is, it's not called disc protocol, but that's an easy way to explain it. It's a non-invasive way to mobilize joints and alter soft tissue end range and reduce some of the symptoms of people with like a disc bulge or nerve irritation.
Sure, yeah. I feel like that's really common for people.
It is, yeah, especially with athletes and heavy lifting and CrossFit now. It's just like, if we see at least like 5 people a week that just blew out something because they were doing 800 handstands, handstand push-ups.
No big deal. Yeah, awesome. So what kind of positive influence have you seen chiropractic play in just the people around you, like, either, your life or other chiropractors' lives or family, friends, or patients? You can kind of elaborate on whomever, but do you have any kind of special stories or just, generalities of benefits that you've seen play out?
From it? Yeah. I guess I'll start with people outside of patients because there are so many stories of how chiropractic has changed patients' lives. But I think, one, I'll break it into like my family and friends.
Yeah.
In chiropractic school, it's amazing to watch the transition that my friends go through, and now watching students younger than me that they go through in those 4 years. I think just like health is the biggest thing. You learn so much about not just your spine and your mental health, but nutrition, exercise. Like you find out the person that you want to be in those 4 years, and then that makes you attracted to other people with those similar mindsets, and they all have this theme of they found somebody that they love, and together those people have improved their health over those 4 years. So it's really fun for us to see just what chiropractic has, how it has brought people together, and then how together it has changed their lives, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
For my family, I guess, I think chiropractic just was the doorway to seeing that not everything is permanent. So, that truly you can change almost anything about your body, a diagnosis, a pain-related thing, or just like a limitation you've maybe set for yourself, which we'll definitely get into as we talk about yoga too, because I think that is one of like the biggest themes and how those two worlds kind of collide. But just to see people taking health back into their own hands because chiropractic has allowed them to.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so cool. So I planning on asking this, but I think that this would be super beneficial for people to hear if you want to answer it. But like, what types of classes do you take when you're, getting your license to be a chiropractor? Because I think that that's also super beneficial. I don't think a lot of people truly understand all of the hard work and diverse and deep amount of topics that you guys dive into at school. So could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So just going through the curriculum, not talking about any of the fun things we do outside of school. The curriculum is is philosophical based. It is very anatomically based. So we take so much detail of years of different anatomy courses and cadaver labs. So true medical dissection of head, neck, spine, muscles, back. That was a shocker for sure to get started with.
Yeah.
Really heavily based on neurology, radiology, X-ray. So we're trained to be able to read films and find pathologies and things like that. Of course, we're not diagnosing them, but we're referring those people. We recognize that and refer the people who they need to get to. A lot of orthopedic type courses and exams. And then I think one the big portion that sets our chiropractic doctorate program from many other medical professions is the massive amount of nutrition education that we have.
I feel like that's a huge myth.
Exactly. Years of different nutrition courses.
Yeah, that's really awesome, because I feel like that brings everything full circle, and you can't really talk about chiropractic and nutrition separately, or just like when you're dealing with someone's health, it's all, it's also intertwined, and the nutrition piece is so key. And I feel like that's something that a lot of, people have kind of a disconnect with. So that's great.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's kind of one of the big things too. I was talking about how our lives have changed through school. You can't go through 4 years of nutrition and it not affect your own personal lifestyle.
Yeah,
like you learn by application, and then changing your life and your lifestyle habits at home. That's how we know how to recommend things to patients too.
Yeah, for sure. So for some of the people that maybe have never been to a chiropractor, or just kind of curious about you as a chiropractor with all of your specialties, what does a regular visit with you consist of? Or walk us through some of like that patient process, or what someone could expect, either when going into a different chiropractor or with you. You can talk about both or either.
Okay. I'll probably keep it to me, just because there is such a wide array of chiropractors. I don't want to speak for everybody.
Yeah.
But in our office, we spend a lot of time with our patients, which is different than many. That may be kind of the sports-related theme, the rehab-related theme. We spend about, after your first patient visit, we're half-hour follow-ups. So, that new patient is very... we talk, we sit down, I want to figure out what's going on. We talk about old injuries, surgeries, scars, hitting your head, emotional, like stress, punching, incontinence. I'm so grateful to work at a place that allows me that time to have that conversation with people.
Yeah.
I can't imagine working somewhere that I only have 2 minutes with everybody, because I could never address those things.
Yeah.
So I do work on your first patient visit. After that whole exam, we go through the neuro, the orthopedic, some movement assessment type things. And then I try to make sure, almost every visit there is a true joint manipulation involved. But that's not going to be for everybody. You may be so injured or so panicked about certain things. Like I tailor a visit to that patient. What do they need from me that day? And then each follow-up is going to be kind of come in, let's continue to work on some function, improve motion. If I have people bring me in like things that are just bothering them, like certain positions. Like yesterday I worked on a man because he was having pain rollerblading.
Oh, yeah.
Is that my normal thing? No, but I'm like, okay, like let's try to mimic that rollerblading position, and then we go through and we fix the positions that they need to be in on a daily basis. So whether it's like sitting at a desk and very work related, it's truly tailored to the soft tissue, the exercises, the acupuncture, the pain relief, the cupping, the taping. It's all tailored to what you need that day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And no pun on the tailor.
Yeah. Awesome. So for the people that are not in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area and cannot go in to see you, which if they are, everybody listening needs to go see Marina at Tensegrity, because she's amazing, if you don't know already. So for the people not in the Tulsa area, what advice or maybe tips do you have for people to find a good chiropractor in their area? Or, do they just go Google searching, or what do they look for? What questions should they ask?
Sure. A lot of people, it's like going to be based off of their insurance. They want to be in network with their insurance provider. But taking that off the table, I would recommend asking around, asking your friends, because if it's someone that you're friendly with and you have similar values, you share similar values with, if they like somebody, you are more likely to like that kind of provider too. Yeah. Definitely do your research. Like we already talked about, anybody who's going to be kind of like a 1 to 2 minute type of provider, that you're going to be in and out. That works for some people, but if you're, I'd rather have somebody who's going to spend some time to get to know what's happening and how to prevent this from coming back.
Sure.
So looking into the type of techniques that they offer, true chiropractor, somebody who uses their hands to adjust you. There's all different types of tools now that are beneficial, but the true chiropractor is going to be someone who uses their hands to manipulate and diagnose as well. So someone who doesn't truly put their hands on you is missing so much information about your body and your issue. I think that's a huge question to say, how long are each visit? You use your hands and just get a general time frame about like how long do you usually see a patient for?
Sure.
If it's 3 times a week for 13 weeks, it's just ask around and see if that's kind of the commitment that you want to make, or someone who makes it based off of your progress and says, if you get better in a couple of visits, you call me when you need me, kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Yeah. Good. So now we can kind of turn the tables here a little bit because you're also super interested in yoga, and that's been a big part of your life. So what about yoga? Like when and why, did that become a large part of your purpose?
Okay. I was trying to think about this yesterday, like truly going back.
Yeah.
My mom had given me a yoga anatomy book 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's just something it's really cool. It's like women in yoga poses, Leslie Kaminoff. It's illustrations of women in yoga poses, and you can see all the muscles. And I just was enthralled with this idea of like what was happening inside your body as you were moving. Yeah. I've always been an athlete, obsessed with movement, and I think I like dusted that book off the shelf one summer, and it just kind of was like, it's time to start working with this. I wasn't playing soccer anymore, and I was missing that activity and that strength, that flexibility in my life, and so I started the summer before chiropractic school. And just at home, I wasn't brave enough to go to a class or anything like that. I was an athlete, so I was like really proud about being good at sports and movement. So I had to make sure I was good at it before I could be public about it, and then it just it took me through chiropractic school. It was my stress relief. It was after sitting in a desk, for 8-hour days and then going home to study for 6 more hours. It was the only way to, just reduce pain, get rid of that seated posture. And then I truly don't know now because I learned both of those things together. I learned yoga together. I learned chiropractic together. I don't know where one stops and like where one starts and the other ends,
Yeah.
They're just so blind now.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, yoga, like you said, you weren't quite brave enough to go to a class in the beginning. I feel like I hear that all the time from people.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was that way for a while. I was like, I need to master this on my own before I go to a class. And I've been to a ton of classes since, and once you get used to it, I feel like it's not all that big of a deal. But I feel like yoga, especially like people going to classes or even maybe people doing yoga at home, can be super scary and intimidating to a lot of people. I mean, rightfully so. I totally get it because I was that way. But what advice do you have for people, that feel that way, but, want to try yoga or get deeper into that?
With most of my patients, usually it's an issue of time, or they don't want to put a lot of money into something that they're not sure they're going to keep up with.
Sure.
If that is the case, I recommend actually following some things on YouTube. So personally, I did yoga on YouTube for about a year or two with Sadie Nardini, who is amazing, by the way. But she got me started with yoga online, so it's something that you start to recognize the phrase and the words and the poses, so then eventually if you do want to go to a class, you kind of have a heads up, you know what things look like, and then have the transition. So YouTube is safe to start with, for sure. It's whenever you're home, it's free, and then you can stop and pause it when you need to take a break and lay down and cry a little bit. or if you're like, okay, that was great, but I need more time, I pause and I stay in that position.
Sure.
So it's very tailored to what you need. The downfall of that is that you don't have the guidance and the modifications that if someone's watching you doing yoga, they can kind of offer you assistance to make sure it's a safe practice for you. So I think one of the reasons that people kind of get discouraged with starting from yoga is they just find a class and they go to it. Mm-hmm. And it may not truly be not that they need at that time of their life, whether it's based on their injury, their age, their limitations. So definitely calling a studio and talking to them. Tell them like a little bit about yourself, your body, your placement, as in like your experience, if you've ever done it before. Sure. And they will definitely be able to recommend, a power vinyasa class versus a restorative yin class, and where you kind of lie on that balance. I think something like you and I, when we were kind of first getting started, like it always helps to have a friend, go with, just somebody like when you're just like really uncomfortable walking in and sitting there, just to have somebody to like chat with in the beginning and just know that they're by your side when you're falling and, hurting yourself, definitely helps break the ice for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, I for so long, was very like self-conscious in yoga classes, and I'm like, gosh, I'm not as advanced as a lot of these people, right. But I feel like what I came to realize was that everyone, can do different positions at, at different levels, and I would see some, some what I would call yogi, real yogis, and them not, be able to do like birds of paradise pose. And that's one of my favorites, and I can do that. And so I was always like, oh, wow, they can do like the handstand, but they're not able to do this. And not that I didn't want to get into the comparison thing, but just even, it just helped me realize that everyone's yoga practice is so different, and everyone's bodies are different and they move different, and people spend time on different poses and mastering them. And so I think that's a huge thing too, if people can just understand that it's
the comparison. You can't help but look at the person next to you, and I think that is a beginner's kind of mindset for sure. When I go into a class now, like you can tell the girls who are also instructors, they are in their zone. Yeah. It's their space on the mat. They know that they're confident enough in their practice that they don't need to look in their head. They're like, okay, I know I need to work on this and this and this. Yeah. So getting past that initial comparison, like use it as motivation for sure. Yeah. But don't use it as, derogatory comparison. Don't discourage yourself because the girl next to you is doing a standing split and my toe is barely off the ground, kind of thing. Like look at it like, good for her. Like she's probably been really practicing at this. I'm going to keep working on it until I get there. Yeah. But definitely just trying to stay in your own space. And like you said, instead of focusing on the things you can't do, focus on the things that you just nailed. Yeah. Where like, 3 months ago, that hurt so bad. And now look where my body is, So those little like slow build up things, I think focusing on that during your practice will really push you forward.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
But we're all guilty of it.
Yes.
As soon as you sit down in class, you're like kind of eyeing up. I guess it's the athlete in me. I'm like kind of eyeing up the competition. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about yoga and chiropractic together. So I know that you work with all sorts of different people, but you definitely have that passion for, working with women, with chiropractic and yoga. So can you elaborate a little bit on those two things?
Sure. The female portion of it or just in general?
Yeah. Sure. I was thinking more with the female portion of it, and just talking a little bit about women.
Yes, I think women. Like statistically, chiropractors see more women than men, as a nation kind of statistic. I think along with that, because it just goes with the themes of like females are a little bit more prone to self-inquiry. And self-improvement and wanting to better themselves. And so by doing so, they're always searching for better ways to improve their mind, their body, their health. And they are not only in control of their health anymore, but women truly control the dynamic of their family health.
Sure, yeah.
So by a mom learning about how to be healthy, that translates over into how to take care of her family and to keep her family healthy. So I think that really draws women to chiropractic a lot, is just because it's that self-empowering kind of concept we talked about as, you're going to a provider or you're going to a yoga class. It's the tool to get healthy, but truly what's getting healthy and what's healing is your body. You're doing it.
Yeah.
You're putting in the work at yoga. Chiropractic is the intervention, but it's your body that's doing the healing. It's your mindset that's going to continue the exercises at home and things like that. So I think that idea of control, I guess, not control, but just like that you're not blindly trusting somebody. You have a role in it. Attracts women to both the non-invasive techniques of chiropractic and yoga. And how those two combine is like a never-ending discussion, which I'm actually going to try to start to write a little bit about, because it keeps me up at night. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just another example.
Yeah.
That mind-body connection, the awareness that you gain in your body through both chiropractic and yoga. Is another female thing that I think we're just a little bit more in tune with what's happening in our body, or able to express it, maybe. Which I'm not going to bash on men. I have a lot of men who really come in and they tell me exactly what's happening that day.
Yep.
But it's going through that.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely do want to talk about your brand,
Okay.
but let's wrap up. Do you have anything else? Feel free to fill some time. Do you have anything else that you want to tell people about, about chiropractic or yoga or anything before we move on to that? I know that's really putting you on the spot. I'm sure there's all sorts of things.
Question. How much time do you have? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I guess I want to just talk about the idea of learning.
Yes, yeah.
So of learning, I think that is a huge theme for the underlying theme of like all that we're talking about here today.
Yeah.
Whether it's learning about your body, learning about your limitations or lack thereof, maybe mentally set limitations, emotionally set limitations. Those all play a huge role in your progress with both chiropractic care and yoga.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the nicest things about our office is that our patients, I share books with like all of my patients, which I probably shouldn't, because when I don't get them back, I want to cry inside a little bit. But the true, you just see like the lights go off in someone's head in a patient that want to, something I said just really stuck with them, and they want to learn more about it. So I love offering books and kind of webinars, or somebody else that I think they'd be great person to talk to. So earlier, like when you asked like what kind of chiropractor or provider you should go to, find a teacher. Just find a teacher. And like even with yoga too, like there's so many types of yoga teachers because they have either a specific specialty, but just finding somebody that you connect with and is going to teach you not only about bettering yourself on the mat, but somehow finding a way that sticks with you to translate that practice off the mat.
Yeah, that is so cool. I love that.
They come out pretty good.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that was going, but that really came full circle.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I do want to tell everybody, because I know this personally about Marina, I do want to tell everybody listening that not only is she like continuing to better herself by learning more about chiropractic, like she's already gone through school, licensed, has a job, but she's continuing to go to seminars, she's continuing to read on her own time. She's not getting paid for that stuff. She usually has to pay to do that stuff. So she's investing, her personal money and time and spending it on education. So not only is she doing that in chiropractic, but she's also doing that with yoga now and getting her teacher certification. And I'm sure that she's not going to stop there, because I know that with yoga, there's, both areas, there's so much learning to be done. And that's what I love that about the people that I surround myself with, and I'm proud to have Marina as a friend, and but also just even as a chiropractor or, a yoga teacher, I just, or whether, I'm not quite sure if you're going to teach yoga or not, but wherever that goes, you're going to have that knowledge and those skills and, better help your patients and other people. That's exactly what I would want in a chiropractor or yoga teacher. It's just, the learning aspect, just always learning and being a teacher of what you learn and stuff, I think is amazing.
Yeah, I hope to teach.
Yeah.
I think I see myself a little bit more as like a workshop kind of like seminar teacher.
Yeah. Then you can
but I think it'd be really nice to kind of give back to the community and, teach a class or two a week for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So I haven't mentioned it yet. I wanted to mention it in the intro and I didn't, but you have your own brand, ChiroYogaFlow, where you combine chiropractic and yoga.
Yes.
So to kind of help like bring this full circle, this powerful and helpful brand that you've built, what's the inspiration behind that, and how has it evolved since you started?
When you were just talking about this the other day, I couldn't believe that it's almost been a year that I started it.
Yeah.
Like truly just kind of sitting in my house, actually at a garage sale. I was sitting at a garage sale last year, wrapping up my life in Kansas City and preparing for my new journey to move down to Oklahoma, which I had only actually visited for about 2 days before I decided to move there. And I was just trying to think of a way to put myself into the community a little bit better, I guess. I wanted to create not just a niche for chiropractic, but give an outlet for people to kind of get to know me and kind of know my interests and some of my techniques before they made the commitment to coming into the office. Which, like we talked about, the hardest thing about any lifestyle change is just starting. Making the phone call, scheduling the appointment, or going to your first yoga class. So I think the initial Instagram was just that outlet. It gave me an outlet to teach, which is kind of like what I was telling you about. So throughout chiropractic school, I was the president and then a rep of this technique club, which teaches younger chiropractic students how to adjust. And I loved teaching. It was just, it kind of turned on a whole new side of me, and I didn't want to let that go just because I wasn't in front of that club anymore. So I thought this would be the outlet to kind of influence the masses, and also it holds you accountable because you're posting information and it can't be opinion pieces. It has to be truly decent information every day. So it's holding me accountable to continue my learning and to find things that would reach out to people and give them that comfort they needed to learn more about chiropractic or yoga. And now I don't even know what it's turned into. It's just, self-help, motivation, books that I love to read. I'll go through themes of the month if I'm just really in a mood. Like this month is acupuncture month. And I'm talking a lot about my training in traditional Chinese medicine. Some of the ideas are a little bit far-fetched compared to the traditional chiropractic sense, but that's my practice. That's what I'm evolving into, is holistic and more energetic type of evaluation. So it's new and it's growing, but I'm embracing it. And we've also done like nutrition months on there. I try to maintain exercises and ways to safely practice yoga and things like that, as well as just keep people, like you said, we started with just like some information about chiropractic that they didn't know, that most people don't know that we study or that we are educated on to like discuss about. But it's transferred into blogs and WordPress. I hopefully would like to make it eventually into a YouTube channel as well. I was kind of waiting for my teacher training to be finished for that, but I hope that it turns into I hope that it turns into instead of saying, hey, just go randomly search on YouTube just to get started, I'd rather say, hey, I know you have this back issue. I want you to watch this video. It's a safe flow for that specific complaint.
Awesome.
But who knows?
super resourceful for people. And the pictures you post are so beautiful. And I'm going to have a link to everything, whether people are watching this on YouTube or on my website. There's going to be a link to all of this stuff where you can find Marina too. So what direction do you see the brand going in the future? Or, do you have any big, other than YouTube, do you have any like other spoilers that you want to mention or maybe not mention? But yeah, where do you see ChiroYogaFlow going?
I mean, I have nothing planned at this point. I kind of am just taking it day by day, and I guess you say month by month. I'm a bigger thinker than day by day.
Yeah.
I'm truly waiting to finish my yoga teacher training, because just like chiropractic, I don't want to talk about anything that I feel like I'm truly not understanding yet.
Sure. Yeah.
So with yoga, I know that I'm just barely skimming the surface, and I want to become more proficient at it before I pretend to be an advocate for it,
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to do that. And kind of like what I said earlier, I could really, like, if I close my eyes and see where this is in like 5 years, it's me traveling, teaching classes about kind of like, the combination of spinal alignment in yoga, or breathing techniques between rehab poses and yoga. So I can visualize that kind of being more my niche with this.
Yeah.
But I hope it continues to. I mean, it's grown really naturally. It is my auxiliary piece. I never wanted to take away from my practice. That's where I need to, like, my focus is on my business every day in the office and how I'm treating patients. So trying to balance, those two things. Like, I'm sure I could do more with it. But it's grown really naturally, and I think just kind of word of mouth or some of the patients that I treat. One thing I did want to say too, for if any students are watching, it is a great way to just start to meet people that you just don't have access to, and if you're moving to a new town.
Yeah.
It's just been a really great way to meet like-minded people and start to learn more about the Tulsa community before I got here, really.
Yeah.
So that when I go to events or I go to yoga class, people kind of like, they recognize me before I've actually met them in person. So it kind of gives somebody a reason to break that ice.
Yeah. That's awesome. So do you have anything else about your brand that you want to chat about before we move on to the last 3 questions I've got?
I think we kind of hit it.
Yeah.
I think we kind of hit it. I just hope it's like a positive outlet to inspire the masses and just reach people that I never would have been able to have access to meeting, not just in this area, but all over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that piece is so important, because while your practice, you're physically limited to the Tulsa area,
right.
With the patients that you're able to see, just obviously for geographical reasons, but you can extend that knowledge to essentially anybody. Like, someone in London can follow your Instagram account and get all of that information that can help them. And I think that's really cool. I mean, social media, definitely has its highs and lows, but I think that's an incredible thing that we can take advantage of and, influence people that, we've never met before.
Right,
so,
right. And then there's so many people else on there that are like that. So it's, you could spend days just like finding amazing people, motivational people that you're just like, thank you for taking the time to like post this today. And, if one happy post can counteract 800 of the negative, it was worth it. It was worth your time.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome. So we'll finish up here with my 3 end of interview questions.
Okay.
So the first one, what is your definition of happiness? Because I know that, lots of researchers have kind of come up with, this is like what happiness is, but I really feel like it's different for everybody. Like, everyone's definition is different. So will you tell us what your definition of happiness is? Or just what happiness means to you. That's another way to ask it.
I love quotes, and I love like reading and highlighting and destroying books with, so I have quotes for later.
Yeah.
And one thing that really stuck with me in my past like year or so of reading was a quote by Deepak Chopra, actually. Of course. It's a definition for success But in my mind, like, I'm not viewing that as like professional success. I'm viewing it as like life success, which I think is happiness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I don't mess this up, but he quoted and said that success is the continued expansion of life and the progressive realization of worthy goals.
Awesome.
And that just hit me.
Yeah.
And that stayed with me since. And so in my mind, I'm, you know, replacing success with happiness, I think pushes that right in there. And it just means that it's like never ending. It's ever evolving definition. I think something that makes you happy at this stage in your life will not continue to make you happy forever unless you allow it to adapt and modify to meet, you know, the changing environment around you.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, you know, obviously this platform that I have is called A Kind Journey, and I talk about, like, you know, everyone just enjoying the journey and don't forget it and just, you know, make it kind along the way. So what does being on a kind journey mean to you? Because you clearly are on one.
Well, I think so. It's easy to look back at your portion of your journey and be like, oh, that was kind. You know, it's harder to say that about the future because you don't know how it's going to end up. It's, you know, it's more fearful based. A kind journey. Let's see. I think the idea of the word journey is different than, like, it's not a destination.
Right.
It's not a special place that you're going to end up. It is a journey. So it's going to go up, it's going to go down. So I guess like a kind version of that would be, you know, being kind towards yourself along the way, understanding that you're going to mess up and that you're going to do something you wish you didn't do, or, you know, trust somebody that maybe you just should have thought a little bit extra about. But being kind to the decisions you've made, accepting them, moving past them, and just kind of trusting in that end game, but not racing to it, which is something that this girl needs to work on.
Me too. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the competition, the athlete in you.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Stopwatch always.
Yep. How fast can I do this? Yeah. Awesome. I love that. So to wrap up, if you had just, you know, only one piece of advice to give, you know, someone wanting to live their best life, you know, what would it be and why? If you just had one thing to tell someone.
One
it's
thing.
So hard.
Most recently, I've been able to verbalize like a theme I've seen throughout my life very much. I kind of say it a little bit more abruptly, but I just call it kind of shock the system. So I use that with like nutrition terms and things like that, but just in life as general. Like, we talked already many times about it's hard to start a change, to make a change.
Yep.
Shock the system. Just have to break the ice. You just have to get started.
Yeah.
So I think because I've moved around the country now a couple times, I don't view anything as permanent anymore, which I've been battling mentally if that's like a negative thing or not, but I don't think it is. I'm kind of coming to the realization it's a nice thing to view anything as kind of temporary. It's under your control to direct from there on out.
Yeah.
So if you are in a job that does not serve you and is not helping you grow mentally, spiritually, or just, you know, professionally, shock the system, make the change. Just start. If you're in a relationship, same thing like that. That's draining you. Nothing is permanent. You don't need to stay in it. You know, I'm the kind of girl that makes a very calculated decision. So I'm not, you know, just like this spontaneous being. But I do know that nothing gets started until you make that first change, that first shock.
Awesome. Very good. So cool. Great. Well, Marina, do you have anything else to tell everybody before we sign off?
I would love to have you reach out and follow me on any of those social medias, ChiroYogaFlow, which I guess I should have said is my combination of chiropractic, yoga, and I started initially as a vinyasa type practitioner, so that was kind of where the flow came from. Sure. But now it's life flow, energetic flow, prana, chi, whatever philosophy you follow. So I'd love to have you along the journey, and please reach out with any questions, recommendations on a blog you'd like to see, or if you know of any amazing seminar that I need to get to.
Awesome. So good. Well, thank you so much, Marina, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, super excited. And for everyone listening, I'm going to have all the links to everything below here. And please also share this if you know people that can benefit from the information that Marina has brought today, or that could even benefit from following her on social media or anything. Just please share. I think that's one of the best things that we can do, especially with access to the internet, is just sharing all of these amazing resources and information with people that it could really change their lives. So that's what my hope is you go out and share this video today. And yep, that's all I've got. So thank you, everyone. Have an awesome day. Marina, thanks again.